Sometimes winning is the only thing. I've never much liked that phrase from Vince Lombardi. Asked how important is winning, he said, "It's the only thing." And I don't generally like that philosophy. But we're right now engaged in a election, which is fundamentally a place where we as Americans are going to choose between democracy and fascism. And really all that matters is which is it going to be that prevails. There's been for decades among people who are thoughtful about American politics a complaint about the media that they just cover the horse race. Who's going to win being a question when we should be talking about the issues. And thinking that we, functioning as a political society, should be having more of a shared community process of thinking things through and making decisions about where we want to go. And I was among the people who felt that way. It's been dispiriting to me to discover how primitive our ability as Americans is to discuss issues. The idea that, for example, to take something from Lawrence O'Donnell's been beating this drum very appropriately. Trump calls for tariffs, and he keeps on saying that means the foreigners are going to pay the tariff, which is not how things work. And I expect there are tens of millions of Americans I expect the majority of Americans don't realize what nonsense that is. There's been some discussion of it. We're not able to draw the proper conclusions from the fact that this guy's proposing complete nonsense. The foreigners aren't going to be paying a dime. They're going to lose market share in America. It's going to hurt them. But the money is all from Americans, the importers, and they're the people who buy the imported stuff. And yet we as a society don't seem to have penetrated this remarkable centerpiece of of a guy who might become president about his economic program. Yeah, we have often had elections where things should have been discussed more intelligently and more fully, and instead the media are focused on the horse race. But now, winning is everything, and the issues are more or less irrelevant. I mean, Liz Cheney knows what she's doing. She's taking a position on the winning and losing thing. Which side's going to, the Democratic or the fascistic side? And she's joining forces with the people with whom she has disagreed on most issues in her political career. So we got no particular reason to be talking about issues. I mean, there's not a single issue really on which the fascistic side is creditable. There's no issue on which you might have to say, well, I'm for Harris, but I sure do prefer the way the Republicans and Trump are doing on this. No, they're wrong pretty much on everything. This is what the extraordinary nature of this fascistic force. They're wrong on climate change. They're wrong on wealth inequality. They're wrong on disenfranchisement. They're wrong on Ukraine. They're wrong on the relationship among the races. They're wrong about the spirit with which we deal with the problem of immigration. They're wrong on democracy versus fascism. So even if we were to get into the issues, and then it's concerning that the Harris campaign recognizes that there are a great many Americans for whom the idea that we are facing a decision point between democracy and fascism, for them to be able to register that as a significant thing or a true thing, that she's got to talk about all the things that she's going to do for them, about insulin and about the price of housing and home care and all that, which are a legitimate thing. I think it is appropriate to provide the full picture and not just I'm the only one, as Liz Cheney understands, who will protect us from fascism. And I find with these stakes that I no longer object to the horse race being the focus. I mean, it's understandable that the media wouldn't want to go into issues even in the good times of our politics, because maybe the American public is just going to check out. But when you get it into being a conflict between this side and that side, the showdown in the street, whatever, it's the team in the blue and the team in the red with the different goal lines and end zones and pushing the ball in different directions. The contest between two boxers going toe to toe, that people can understand. Well, you can understand how that would become the media's focus, because they don't want to bore people with the really vital policy issues that people should understand but aren't going to. But now, it's the horse race stories that most interest me. What does it mean that this poll says that? What does it mean that this poll says that? Who's going to win? It's a gnawing uncertainty, and because we're on the edge of an abyss. This is kind of a life or death election in a way that, every one of Trump's elections has been somewhat life and death. I've never been more depressed than I was the day after he won it. November 9th, 2016. Terrible day. But this is far more intense. The fascistic nature of it is right out in front, and is even being made his closing message to the country is, I'm offering you fascism. Enemies within, military, eats pets. Horse race. What does it mean, this bit of information? How much can we count on this happening or that happening? Every day I go look to my Simon Rosenberg email, because winning is a life or death issue. It's not necessarily going that far, but the life and death of American democracy is a huge thing. And for the world at large, for the leader of the free world to be led by the fascist president we elected is just too painful to bear. All I really want to know is, are we going to come out of this okay? This is one of those times when winning is the only thing. Thanks for listening. If you want to check out some of the bigger picture ideas that I've got and some of the other smaller picture ideas, please go to my website, abetterhumanstory.org. We're engaged in a showdown right now, and it's like a gunfight in the streets. That kind of showdown. Is it going to be our hero, or is it going to be the villain who's left alive after they both draw and shoot? Winning. Thank you. abetterhumanstory.org.